Hi, this is Brian from NoDebtWorldTravel.com, and I want to talk to you today about one of the most important factors of your next long-term travel, even short-term travel, the Grand Miles. What do you do about your travel video? How do you get the best travel video to really capture your memories? And with me, I have John from TripOnADeal.com, and he's going to talk to us about all about cameras, video work, how we can get the best memories from our trip. So, John, thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining me. I love the blog.
Thanks. Now, John, I know you say the most important thing to do when you have video is not actually the video. It's the audio.
100%. What happens is if you watch a video and you have amazing pictures but crappy audio, it's hard to watch. Audio is more subconscious, more subtle, but viewers have an uncomfortable attachment to audio, and they don't quite know why. But if you have crappy video, but with stellar audio, people will watch that. I mean, Blair Witch Project, for example.
Right.
It doesn't really matter as much. I mean, clearly you want great video to capture but the key is without good audio, you don't have a good video.
Right. So for the amateur photographer, the amateur videographer,
yeah.
What do you recommend they do when they have their little flip camera, their little iPhone, whatever device they're using to record? How can they enhance that audio?
Sure. It depends on what you're doing. Like, for example, if you are traveling and you get this great shot of somebody jumping off a cliff or riding a donkey or whatever it is that you did, you don't necessarily need great audio for that. And sometimes what's great is that once you're done, go to a quiet place where you're close to the video camera. Like if you have a flip camera and you're in a quiet room and you're relatively close to the mic, then the audio actually sounds pretty good.
Right.
And with a very simple, cheap or even free editing program, you can then use that narrative that you recorded saying, today we went on that burro ride, we saw this person, whatever. You can edit that over the video, and then suddenly a good crisp audio, and it sounds great. Now, in lieu of that, get a camera with an external mic jack.
Ah, okay.
Because flip cameras, they have actually pretty good quality. But to my knowledge, none of them have an external mic jack.
Okay.
But now there is another video camera that is somewhat like the flip. It's called the Kodak ZI-8.
Okay.
And those are about the same cost as a flip camera. I think you can get them for about $125, $150, but they actually have an external mic jack. And here, this is a very cheap wireless external mic that I purchased at Radio Shack. $50, a Sony wireless.
Okay.
You don't even have to do the wireless. You can get a wire, but when you're traveling, you really need the wireless mics. And so, for not that much extra, you can put this on yourself. And when you're doing that interesting thing, your friend is taping. Suddenly, you have fantastic audio, and you have a YouTube hit on your hands.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah. Now I know you have another mic here.
Well, this is, you can actually get mics that actually go on the camera, and these mics can run you about, if you're getting a good one, about $100, $150. And this is actually another way to get better audio than just the internal mics that are on.
And this is a boom mic.
This is a boom mic, a directional mic, sometimes they're called. I mean, they can go up to thousands of dollars, but for the consumer, if you literally just get a directional mic, you put it on your camera and then hook that to the external mic jack, the audio that you will get will be vastly improved.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
Now, beyond audio,
yes.
I know lighting is important too.
Correct. I mean, most of the flip cameras or the lower consumer grade cameras, you can get HD cameras now for as little as like $200 nowadays that shoot on a flash drive or something like that. They're great in outdoor light.
Right.
But the moment you get inside and you have lower light conditions, it becomes mud.
Right.
They are not really equipped. And so really, you have to be very cognizant of that. The other thing that is the biggest problem with, if you're doing, say, if you're interviewing somebody outside and you have that noon sun, what you get is what we call raccoon eyes. You get that sun that is directly above and then it
in the
shades,
shadows, right?
Exactly,
right.
And that is not attractive. It's hard to look at.
Right.
But for something as simple as some sort of white thing that you can reflect on, if you have some, like, let's say I'm interviewing you and the sun is just right overhead and I don't see your eyes, I can literally take a t-shirt or a piece of paper or a whiteboard and just off camera reflect that sun in your eyes, and it's a beautiful shot. You know, very simple, very free, and yet suddenly you have upgraded your interview shot tenfold. Now that, you need a friend, but it helps.
So light And shadow always play a big role
Yeah.
in getting
And you
good visual effect.
Well, 100%. I mean,
Right.
these, especially with these lower grade cameras, you need some light, and the human eye is different. We can look at, for example, I can see a picture of a friend, and he's in shade, but in the background there's a very bright mountain, and my human eye can handle that, but the camera can't. And so there's basic rules about shooting. If your subject is in shade, your background needs to be in shade. If your subject is in light, your background needs to be in light. Very simple, but it holds true.
Right.
All right, unless you have some of the most sophisticated cameras that we can't afford.
Right.
The other thing is you can get simple lights like this light I bought. I think it was like $75. You can get a battery for that. Those batteries are a little bit more expensive. But if you're going to shoot stuff inside, a little light that attaches like this can be hugely helpful and not that expensive. Now, one thing you should be aware of that most camera lights are not useful outside. The power of the sun will it is a different temperature than this kind of light, and this light will not do anything for you outside.
Right. Now, the biggest thing is the camera itself.
Yes.
Because a lot of people are not professional photographers. They don't know anything about lenses or
Sure.
exposures. And a lot of people are now using their iPhones. They're using their camera phones.
Sure.
Flip phones. There are so many different types. What do you recommend? What should people look for, even if they're not going to buy a real high-end camera, but they want to get the best picture possible?
You know, the technology is so amazing compared to even to a few years ago that even the cheaper cameras have amazing possibilities. Clearly, the more you spend, the better quality you get, the more your camera will be able to handle varying types of light. You really, if you're just a consumer, it's hard to go wrong even with the cheapest cameras. The flip camera, I'm continually amazed at in outside conditions how well it performs. Now this is an HV20. 3-4 years ago, I think I bought this in 2007, $1,000.
Wow.
Now you can get it used for $400 or $500 bucks.
Right.
This shoots on mini DV. This is a Canon. This is an excellent camera. $500 is a little bit more than most people want to spend. You can get actually the new Canons, the Vixia line. They run from anywhere from $600 to $1,200 or so. Very quality cameras. They shoot on flash, which is great because then you can replace the flash cards and have as many as you want. So they're excellent as well. The other thing is many of these digital cameras that are actually still cameras now shoot amazing high def video. There's a new camera that just came out. It's the Canon T2i.
Okay.
It runs without a lens about $600. You can get a lens package about $680. Still a lot to spend, but not only does it take wonderful photos, but it takes 1080p high def beautiful shots. And the audio is nominal, but if you're looking for quality video where you can go out and just see incredible vistas, I highly recommend taking a look at these kind of cameras.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
John, one last question.
Yeah.
When we're looking at a camera, when we're in the store, what features, what things should we be looking for in terms of exposure, megapixels, just the general type of criteria we should be looking for in a camera?
I would say 90% of people who shoot video or even photos keep on the auto. You know what I mean? They keep everything on automatic exposure, automatic white balance, automatic focus. So to be honest with you, once you get past that, it completely depends on your needs. So all I say is make sure that your camera has an external mic jacks that you can get that good audio. I would say beyond that, your needs are so specific that anybody who tells you, oh, you definitely need to look for this, this, and this, I think that they need to know more about your information. Now, the one thing that is a misconception is megapixels. Everybody says with a still camera, oh, this
5 megapixels, 8 megapixels,
14 megapixels.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't
Nowadays, most of the cameras have so much megapixels, so many dots per inch, that the image is going to be bigger than anything you print out or put on a computer screen. So that's not, you don't need, the difference between 8 megapixels and 10 megapixels is 14 megapixels. You won't see the difference. But the lenses make a difference.
The lens.
So if you are going to be doing, say, the T2i or some sort of camera that you can change lenses, then invest in a better lens, because you can have an 8 megapixel camera with a quality lens and a 14 megapixel camera with a crappy lens, and guess what is going to be the better video or the better shot?
Better lens.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the other thing you had asked about right before we were talking about is your editing. You went on traveling, and you didn't do video because you were intimidated by the editing?
Well, not only that, but my laptop wasn't very high powered.
Yeah.
So.
What was your laptop?
Oh gosh, I had a IBM ThinkPad T41,
Sure.
older. It was basically just for Skype and email.
Yeah.
And uploading my photos. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't consider trying to, edit HD video on that. It would take hours.
That's the problem with some of these flip cameras that you get now, because you're getting 720p high-def video.
High-def.
Or even if you're trying to edit with a T2i, it is a huge files. It takes a computer with a little bit of gusto.
Edit it. Can't edit it.
And so the fact is that most of the time you don't need that high def. You can't put it on a tape or a DVD. You're not burning Blu-rays for your friends.
Right.
So the high def is not always the best thing. I mean, unless you're a professional photographer and you want to get those beautiful shots that you want to sell, you don't necessarily need that. You need the memories. You need those moments. And if you want to cut it together, I know this is a sacrilege to say, but sometimes you might want to consider not shooting the highest quality, because then you can take your IBM ThinkPad, or nowadays, 2010, as we're on, most of those bottom grade laptops can actually handle a Windows Movie Maker, which they just came out with a new version, the 4th version. It's up in beta. I'm shocked. It's actually a really good editing program, and it's free.
Right.
It rivals iMovie, which is free. Now, for a real editor, those are very substandard.
Right.
But for somebody who wants to just do some drag and drop with maybe some titles, add a little bit of music.
Like most of us.
Yeah, most of those editing programs are actually pretty good.
Right.
And you can upgrade. A lot of people have Camtasia or Sony Vegas, which I think is like $100. Most people don't need that. You know what I mean? There's free options out there for basic consumer use that are not that hard. It takes a little bit of reading up, and there's great videos online to learn a little bit, but you can do some amazing things.
Fantastic. John, tell the folks where they can find you.
TripAndADeal.com is our weekly web travel series. We also have a production company, And Now Media, ANDNOW.com. That's how we pay the bills. We do videos for corporations and the like.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So everyone, visit John, TripAndADeal.com. Again, I'm Brian from NoDebtWorldTravel.com. Thanks for watching.